This story is based on the real-life story of Stuart Little too. The firemen exited the charcoal ed building, carrying the scraps of my house. Due to the law that was passed, the firemen get to keep your stuff when your house burns down. Bummer. I brought the leftover scraps from the raging fire for dinner. When the town folks gathered at the town folk gathering in the middle of town, the town folks introduced themselves with real names like Bruce and John and Bubba. My uncle always said I was a shapely man. I do in fact love shapely shapes. My uncle said I had a shapely mind, all the better for shapely thinking. My uncle Loki died in an automobile accident later that month. I felt my questions unanswered, my soul unfull, my heart empty. A dodecahedron. That's what I need. I lifted my feet off the starchy rug and put one in front of the other, forming a strong strut. Gang shit. Where are you going, Stuart? Said John, who is Bubba's uncle who happens to be a felon. I didn't look back. I never liked home. Joe Chen was a bit of a dick too. Joe Chen was always infatuated with bread. Loved the stuff. He only wanted to live so he could eat every flavor of bread. I didn't need to spend another second conversing with family. I had a mission. A journey. Hands in pockets. Strutting through the front door. Gang shit. I went to the gas station where I would purchase a shape. But I had to go through Detroit to get there. I took the back alleys, slipped through the darkness. I hate Detroit. Too many Detroitians. The mere thought of them made me gag. I went on and arrived at the gas station where I purchased a dodecahedron and a Monster Energy. The dodecahedron contained riches. It could hatch any item smaller than it, smaller than the palm of my hand, but only every now and then. Only when it's convenient. What a joke. But, at least it's a shape. The first impact was a meteor that killed the dinosaurs. The second impact was humanity reawakening Adam in the Antarctic. The third impact? This dick in yo mama. Fuck you. While I was trying to make my way back home, hopefully after the folk gathering ended, a man pulled up in his car right in front of me, blocking my path. My name is Tommy, and Chicago Uncle sent me. The city needs you, Stuart. I didn't listen to another word. I already threw myself into the car. I was ready. However, a realization came to me. Wait, my uncle Loki died in an automobile accident. How did he send you? Oh, about that. Your uncle Loki lived, and he has 3 sons. Harry, Bobby, and me. Tommy, the third son. I'm cool, I like Eminem and I play sports every day. Stuart was astonished. I mean, he's cool, he likes Eminem, and he plays sports every day. I bet he has so much sex. Stuart was ready. He was already preparing himself for any mission his uncle had for him. What does he need me for? Stuart enthusiastically inquired. There's a new top dog on the streets. His name? Chicken Little. He owns the biggest baddest gang in Chicago and his meth is the purest on the market. Stuart was enraged. He knew Chicken Little, a mortal enemy. A lifelong adversary. Stuart was ready to be the one to strike him down. Say less, said Stuart. Before long Stu and Tommy had arrived in Chicago. Before Stuart even left the vehicle his uncle gave him a tight hug. You're a shapely man, Stuart. I'm glad to have you on the team. Thank you, Chicago Uncle. I'll do anything to assist in the downfall of my nemesis, Chicken Little. Stuart was sure he had to succeed. It was a war. But Stuart, you cannot go alone. That's why you need to wear this earpiece. It will give you a shapely mind. Tommy will accompany you during your ground assault, and if you ever need assistance I'll have my best man Curtis to assist you. He is very smart and if you ever have a question you can ask him with your earpiece. But Chicago Uncle, Stuart interjected, if Tommy is cool, likes Eminem and plays sports every day, and I'm a shapely man with a magic dodecahedron, what is Curtis's power? Stuart's Chicago uncle chuckled to himself before answering. He can scour the entirety of Reddit for any answer to any question in the world. Stuart gasped, a truly mind-bending power. He had no time to boggle over the amazing power of Curtis. However, he had to end Chicken Little's meth empire. Chapter 2, the second chapter.
Like and subscribe for part 2.
Chapter 2, the second chapter. I believe it was Kant who said, "Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play." Perhaps subconsciously, Stuart exhibits experience by roaming the venomous streets of Gotham City. However, he exhibits theory by being based. This is a fact, perchance. Curtis gave Stuart an e-map of Chicken Little's secret base, hidden deep beneath O-Block. E-maps became all the talk after the downfall of paper in 2015, shortly after the release of Uptown Funk featuring Bruno Mars. And before long, Stuart and Tommy were at the doorstep of Chicken Little's secret base. Stuart's legs trembled with fear. When he set out on this mission, he knew he could die. But that was a sacrifice he had to make for the gaming community. "Tommy," Stuart started, "if I die today, make sure to bury me right next to my brother in Christ, XXXTentacion." Tommy turned to Stuart before replying, "Don't worry, you won't die." "How can you be so sure?" Stuart inquired. "Because gamers never die. They are just missing in action." Stuart and Tommy shared a short, but however passionate kiss before kicking down the door and firing upon Chicken Little's guards with their pistols. Before long, both of their mags were empty and the floor was littered with bodies full of bullet holes. Stuart remarked his favorite Gandhi quote, "First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win." Before reloading and moving into the basement where he and Tommy would find the biggest meth lab this side of the world, before Stu and Tom could fully soak in the gigantic lab, over maybe 100 football fields in girth, Chicken Little revealed himself from the shadows, bearing a cloak as dark as the night and a yee-yee-ass haircut sharp enough to cut time itself, which is why he is never late to a meeting. Well, said Chicken Little, "if it isn't my two favorite boys. You're hopeless to stop my meth empire, for I have a secret ingredient." Chicken Little paused for dramatic effect, but not long enough for it to be erotic before revealing his secret: 1,000 spiders. This was a truly shocking secret ingredient, as no chemist other than Chicken Little had ever thought to incorporate 1,000 spiders into their meth. A true show of Chicken Little's pure genius. Stuart and Tommy's mouths fell agape after hearing of this. However, the surprises did not end with large portions of spiders. That wasn't even the main course, for Chicken Little had an even more sinister weapon at his hands. Chicken Little stood aside before pressing a medium-sized red button, unearthing a gigantic deep fryer from the ground, perhaps 50 football fields girthy. Tommy whispered to Stuart, "Geez, this is worse than the time Earth 1 exploded." Their cutaway was shortly interrupted, however, by Chicken Little booming his voice at Stuart and Tommy, "I will now fight you to the death, Stuart. Because you are my mortal enemy, and no matter how much crystal meth I sell to pregnant women, killing you will be the only way I can fill the hole in my little chicken heart." "Then it's a battle," Stuart Little called. "Because you may be chicken, but I'm half mouse, half man, all Stuart." Stuart then lunged at the Chicken Little, throwing them both into the deep fryer. Chicken Little's skin blistered red and it felt as if every nerve in his body was about to pop. Stuart then strangled him and held him under the greasy, oily liquid. Chicken Little's screams were deafened by the crackle of his skin turning crisp and his feathers burning off before he stopped being able to fight it and laid limp in the deep fryer, floating above the liquid as it cooked him through. Stuart climbed out of the deep fryer, not a scratch nor a blister. "But wait, how didn't the deep fryer fry you?" Tommy asked, shocked. Stuart chuckled before replying, "I covered myself in water before I threw myself into the fryer so the oil couldn't make contact with my skin. It's just simple chemistry, really." Tommy laughed before putting an arm around Stuart's shoulder, and they both shared a deeply intimate moment. Our greatest ability as humans is not to change the world, but to change ourselves. Gandhi. The end.
Like and subscribe and I'll make the creator make more. Anyway, that's all. Bye.